breastbone, where your heart is, let's say, where the density inside of your chest is. And imagine that the heart is big and heavy. It's like a soccer ball. And it takes up space, and it's wonderful. It's reassuring. It's really, let it really rest against your spine. So, of course, we feel the ribs on the floor, but open your imagination up and go inside and feel that this density is resting. Just heavy, that it's just heavy. And then from there, as you breathe, imagine, project, and sense your arms coming out. I don't want you to stretch your arms. Just sense your arms opening out. So that you're not just having arms that start from shoulders. You have this deep, rich, heavy place inside that moves and beats and relates to your lungs, that kind of world in there. And then you have these long arms that are rivering away from this place on the floor. And you will notice that your upper arm has a quality, your lower arm has a quality, as do your hands. And we're going to go in a little bit into this arm space for a tiny bit. And so you may notice how often arms feel relaxed and easy, but they're not. They have lines of tensions. They have cables of tensions in there. So just feeling like that, just taking a moment. Now, you may want to look at the camera for a moment. I'll talk you through it, but here I am, and imagine that my arm is on the floor, and you see my hand at my elbow, so my elbow's on the floor, more or less. And what you're going to do is from your heart to your shoulder to your elbow, you're just going to be heavy. And then your forearm, you're just going to let it rotate, just the forearm, like you were doing some Chinese theater. Yeah. So if you move the whole arm, then of course you make but the forearm has a movement of its own, and it's very interesting place that actually gives clarity to the confused as you go down into the elbow and so on and so on. So the arm is very heavy, and you're wide, and you're breathing, and you're rivering, and then it's just the forearm, and not only in the wrist. That's nice, but so you don't want the whole arm to move, but you don't want only the wrist to move. So as you go palm down, you'll be able to feel that you can open that up. Yeah. Of course, if you peel your elbow off the floor and your whole shoulder move, that's okay, but then the whole arm moves. So we're just going to make a sound. And you're exploring, and don't worry about right or wrong. So it's just like that. So it's heavy arm from shoulder blade, heavy, and then just this. Okay, and stop when you are palms up. So you have long arms, and your forearms are then palms up. Just take a moment to notice where you are. And now your whole arm stays on the floor, different from that movement that we made in other classes where your arm is growing from your fingertips. Although this is from your fingertips, but you just bend your whole hand and fingers up. So you get a right angle with the hand coming up. Good. But you try not to involve as much as possible, the forearm. And it's strong but easy. So that's down. So you just bend, and you do that with both arms. You bend and then release. And just release it. And notice, play with the idea that as you release it, the river trickles up through your fingers, from your heart or from inside your ears out. Now we're going to turn the forearm down. So just the forearm rolls like we did before. It rolls so your palm's down. And this time we're going to turn the back of the hand up. So it's this way now, this way and down. First you turn the arm. First you just turn the arm. And easy, and then you bend it. Don't worry if it's not perfectly up, or just turn the whole forearm so the palm is down, and bend the hands up. And as you bend, just feel inside that the river is growing and lengthening, and play with those kind of cables. Cables in there. And then we just roll the forearm the other way and we bend the hand up. So it's this movement. Palm up and bend at the wrist, and then roll the forearm and back of the hand up. So there is this movement, and then let it be very oily and exploratory, and then drop the whole thing and breathe. And just feel. Wobble the head, swallow, just uncomplicated, just hanging out with the arms, letting them disentangle, feeling what's there. Breath, heavy head. Palms up, wobble the head. And this time we're going to let just the fingertips grow, and the fingertips are going to take the fingers, the palm of the hand, the wrist, and the forearm. So you're going to bend at the forearm, going chapter by chapter, bits of fingers, bones of hand, wrist, forearm. And eventually your elbow's on the ground, and your forearm, you're bent at the forearm, and your forearm is vertical. So try to understand where vertical is for you. And drop the forearm. Beautiful. Really drop the forearm. And then again, the fingertips are growing through the fingers, the hand, the forearm. Very rooted in the elbow. Try to really that's the basic movement in yoga. That is the essence of what yoga asana is, but we know that's the essence of what a human being does. I root in order to move, to have wings, to project, to go. And as I go with my wings, I discover my roots. So the roots and the wings are always nourishing each other. So I feel the root of my elbow as the glove of my hand opens up. My hand is a sunflower. The sunflower opens to the light and the warmth and the sun. And I'm opening as I'm rooting. I'm opening as I'm rooting. Opening and rooting. That's how we lengthen. Eventually, that's how the spine lengthens, or articulations in the body get happy, because they have a place of root and a place where they go or have wings. And then we drop. And we wobble the head and we swallow. Yawn, breathe, allow, arrive. Great, and the fingertips are taking off again, and they're taking the fingers and the palms of the hand and the forearm, rooting through the elbow, rooting through the elbow. Yeah. And now we're just going to we stay forearms vertical, rooting on the elbows, but we let the palms open to the sky. So the back of your hand will open to the floor. I'm doing it here. It's kind of Egyptian. Or I don't know, a waiter with champagne glasses on a tray. Yeah, you want to let your hand drop as far as it can. That's the first thing, and then you can act on it a bit more, and you'll notice it may bend your fingers. Yeah. So we just open, drop. How much do you want to be allowing? How much do you want to do? And then we just let the hand come back up, and then we let the hand drop the other way. Just let the front of the hand drop. So the back of the hand, the bony back of the hand is like a cape over the hand. And we just let it be, and then we drop everything. Drop it. Now just the right arm grows up through the fingertips, the finger, the palm, the whole arm. Past the elbow, the whole arm gets vertical, just the right arm, just the right arm. The whole arm is vertical, yeah. The whole arm is vertical, the eyes open if they're not. You're heavy on the floor, and you see your hand up there in the space, and you're very deep. So your eyes are far away from your hand and deep in your face, and your hand is deep in the space. So you don't have to go out and get it with your eye or worry about naming. Just let yourself drop into how deep space is, and drop away from words which flatten everything for the moment. They're not necessary. Looking at the shapes and the tones of color and light. Shapes between things, yeah. And then your right arm that is floating is just going to start to reach across. So don't rush, and you're not going to reach across to the floor. You're reaching across to a high diagonal. Yeah. And there is a moment where the head quite happily follows. So there is a moment where you're reaching across and your head has followed your hand because you're looking at something where your hand would go to get that thing, or that's it. And then your arm is going to come all the way back, and your face and eyes will follow, and it will drop completely on the floor, and your head will have turned onto that side. At whatever speed works for you. Just hang out there. Don't think about it. Don't correct it. Just be at peace. The neck has turned. You've opened the space. You're very heavy. And now the left fingers start to grow. Fingertips, finger, bones of the hand, forearm. The whole left arm goes up. And of course, you can do it very slowly, but the thing is really just an easy peacefulness about the sequence. We can choose to start from the periphery or from the center. So that was the periphery, it was the fingertips. I could have said, lift your arm from your shoulder. It's a completely different, same arm, but different thing. And then the arm is up, and you just hang out there for a moment, enjoying this miracle of rooting and winging arm. Yeah, and you're very deep, so you're completely at rest on the floor. Just notice any tendency to tense in the neck or the jaw or the eyes where you have to go get something because you're looking at it. Just see if that's a big part of what you do, just play with that and breathe and say, no, I don't need to do that right now. I see my hand, it's in the space, I see the ceiling or the sky, the window, whatever. And my arm is also heavy at the same time. And then the arm begins to go across. Okay, so this is not a collapse, it's a reach. So you're reaching or tracing, and your eyes are happily involved, so at some point your head turns. And you just let that movement of the shoulder happen. Just let that movement happen. And then in a few breaths, when you want to, however quick or slow, your arm goes all the way back and opens out, and your head follows. Your head follows. Millions of times a day, we could make richer, bigger movements in the upper body that involve the heart and all the casing and how it sits on the diaphragm and how our ribs move, it's extraordinary how our ribs are, our rib cage, and gesture and movement of head and neck. All of this stuff, which often in our world, we don't have permission to make such big gestures. Right arm, you're just going to accelerate, but not rushing. Right fingertips, fingers, hand, arm, growing, rooting, winging, across, head following, everything going across. Let it accelerate a little bit. It's like you just threw something in this amazing slow motion. And then there's a return. Who knows why? Wind came and blew your arm, and it returns completely open, and the head follows. That was beautiful. The neck and the other arm is already growing. Fingertips, fingers, bones, upper arm, lower arm, everything up. And as it reaches open, this river of heart, arm, lung, fingertip, history of since you were in your mother's womb making little fingers, head, smile, yeah, beautiful. And then the wind comes or something, and the arm and the head and everything just naturally unfolds and opens up. Right. Just take a moment just to let that in and to feel where you are. Okay, so you may need to look, because I can't describe this very well, but it's in yoga, it's called eagle arms, because it's part of eagle pose. You're going to be lying on your back, and we're just going to do this with the arms. So this is what we're doing. I'll be here. What we're going to do is you're going to let both arms come up. You're going to let them cross. You can stay solid. And then you're going to just let the forearms twine. And when the hands come near each other, you just turn your thumbs as much as you can towards your face. Yeah. And you just realize how incredibly talented you are. Yeah. Yeah. Now, this is a wonderful position for the front, how the way it's squeezing the clavicles into their homes and all of that, the way the clavicle comes out and works with the shoulder blade. So it's this delightful, curious compression on the front, and it's widening and teasing the tissues on the back. Yeah. So just for a moment, twined as you are, breathe out and lift your head and ooze your vertebrae into the ground. Does not need to be far, and then release the head back to the ground. And now, as you breathe in, let the arms float up and away from you. Could be millimeters. Up and away, as if the twined pretzel is coming up and over your face. Yeah. Try to not, maybe you don't need to go so far. I mean, it's marvelous like that, but should just stay like that. Now, you see there's a different, it goes a different place. You see, so stay with that one. Yeah. And then just disentangle your arms and let them melt to the floor. Melt, melt, melt to the floor. Do you have any other technical problems? Yeah. Great, and then the arms are growing from the fingertips through all the pieces into the hand, growing up, opening to the heat of the day and the light. Just let it accelerate. Forearms, whole arm growing, huge roots coming out of your ears and shoulder blades and back of your head. Yeah. So, for me, the more you go into this path of nearness and working with the things that are not so common to vision, the more we discover surprising things about our bodies. The more we try to move, or we educate each other about movement, or correct each other's posture through vision and straight action-oriented language, the more we create this funny gap, which is then a problem that we've swallowed. It's like, I don't know, swallowing a potato and then it's stuck in your throat and uncooked. So, we're deep in the arms. We're not looking at our arms. We're opening something. We're opening, and we're in this deep participatory thing, and I'm trying to use language that way so that you can discover endless things, and then you can apply it to yoga poses or whatever kind of mountain climbing or carrot chopping or crocheting, whatever you do. Caressing of beloved ones. I mean, there's all this stuff that we do with our arms. Yeah. So now, I don't know if you remember which way you twined your arms, but see if you can go the other way. You can go the other way. So that was the same way. Yeah. Now, there's always going to be one version of all these arm twining things that we could do, like with legs. There's always going to be one direction that will feel easier. It doesn't mean that the other one has something wrong. It often has to do with the deep rotational nature of our river, the more axial part of us. So if you can, try to love both variations. The one that turns more, the one that turns less. Because often we injure ourselves by forcing one to match the other, rather than letting them breathe together. So it's the other one, and they've twined, and you can fiddle a bit, and then you turn the thumbs towards your face, and just let your twined arms kind of be heavy and rest on your chest. And just notice, and do it your way, but just notice the way you're letting things compress and rest at clavicles and breastbones and things like that. And then we're just going to breathe out and have very heavy arms on heavy breastbone, on heavy heart. And we're going to just let the head come up a little bit, but not too effortful, just up and sinking and oozing your bones into the floor, and then releasing back to the ground. You can moan if you need to. Head, and then the arms start to come up and over as you breathe in. Breathing in, letting that twine thing come up and over. Of course, the more you disentangle, that's great. The further you go, but that's great, actually. Is that cool? Yeah, fantastic. Just do a bit more. Straighten the fingers. Yeah. Up and over and teasing into the lower edges of your armpits where the front edge of your shoulder blade is. Very rich, amazing territory there. And let it melt to the floor. Let it melt to the floor. Beautiful. Beautiful. So when you're when you're ready, roll over to one side or the other. Take your time, hang out there for a bit. Preventing you from lifting your head, doing a sit-up, and be back in your habit. Roll, breathe, notice, drool, hang out. Keep going until you're up on your feet. Yeah, take your time. Come up. Come up. So we're going to change gears slightly, and just to get in the mood for that, we'll just find your feet. And when you're ready, do a little bit of rocking. Yeah. So if you have things around pressure and balance, just come up near a piece of furniture so that you're not worried. And we just swivelly, just letting yourself swivel. And then we'll just go for a wall. And just let your arms and your legs swing. Let the wall move your shoulders. Open up the horizon, look out the window. Yeah, so there's oil and flow, oil and flow. Yeah. Okay. So, and then making your way back to your mat. How are you all doing? Good? It's a dangerous one in the afternoon, right? It makes you realize how dopey the afternoon can be. Such an amazing feeling, isn't it? The siesta feeling. Okay, so let's come onto our hands and knees. And the first movement is something we've done a number of times in kneeling, sitting, and standing. You want to, are my feet on camera? So you want to curl your toes under if this is new. And you want to just let go of your belly. So one of the things about practicing is to just notice any belief systems around the curves of your body. If it's too curvy, or your bum sticks out too far, or I encourage you to have a good old look, because I don't know where we got the idea that our back should be just completely flat. It's deadly. So, some of us have bigger curves. Some of us are more flat. We can play with the curves by sucking things in or letting them drop, but we should be playing and aware. So you're just letting the belly go and grow. And the belly button, the belly wall, the weight of the organs, which means that your pelvis will tilt forward and your squirrel's tail will stick up. And your sit bones, which are not your tail, your sit bones are the lower part of that three-part bone on each side of your pelvis. The sit bones will be pointing up and away from each other. The more we relax our bottoms, the more we help with world peace. So just let that. So you have a squirrel's tail. Your spine is curving, and now the spine between your shoulder blades has let go. For some of us, the head comes up, for some down. But we are developing these huge antlers, and we're just going to put our right elbow down and our left elbow down, and we have this enormous, wonderful squirrel's tail, and we're putting these huge antlers on the floor, forehead, allowing the bones of the head, of the cranium, to move in relation to the top two vertebrae. We're letting our chin stick out a bit. We're not worrying about the curve of the neck. Elbows rooting into the ground. Huge antlers giving weight as we bow on the forest floor. Our tails way up in the air, and the spine bending and cascading down from tail to shoulders to head. Elbows are supporting you, but you're not pushing up against yourself. Palms on the ground. Now,
take a moment just to, if it's too much, you can just come up and breathe or look around. So just be easy, but here we are, bowing antlered squirrel. It's a moment of profound worship before the afternoon aperitif, known as the antlered squirrel afternoon aperitif moment of worship. And sorry, that was, yeah. Elbows rooting into the ground. So there you are. Now, the forearms, like we did lying on our backs, you can let the forearm in a soft, oily way point, palms upward. Does that make sense? So just play with that, but don't move your elbows. Leave the elbows, because of course you'll make a much bigger movement if you move the elbows. But it's just the forearm. And then roll the forearm so that it's palm down. Yeah. So the terms are supination and pronation for the forearm. It's this moment where the whole forearm does this beautiful palm upwards, like that moment when you open your hand and you have a gift for someone and they see it. And then there's the palm down moment, which is more what we would do if we were going to push against something. We would pronate the forearm and the palm would go against the object and we push. So just let that movement happen a few times. Play with it. Don't try too hard so you get tense. Okay, so now we're going to let the palms face upwards. So if you do lots of yoga and you never did it like this, just try it. We're going to do both. Just have your elbows happily rooting in the ground. Was that okay with my face in the floor? Oh, this is better. Okay. But do you think they heard all of what I just said? I hope so. Okay, good. So, I mean, especially the joke about the aperitif. It'd be terrible if nobody heard that. So, elbows in the ground, palms up, and then try not to strain in the chest, belly, or buttocks, but you're just going to slowly float up with your bum. Leave your elbows on the floor, leave your forearms pointing, palms up. And I'm doing it if you want to have a look, if you're not here. Knees bent way up on your toes, resting deep into your elbows and allowing this curious movement. Allowing this curious movement to, that's good, allowing it to work its way up into your shoulder joints. Yeah, you don't need to stay forever, but stay for a bit and let your head hang. That's good. Is that comfortable? Oh, you put too much on it. Yeah, you don't want to be on your head. Yeah, that's good. That's okay. That's good. And then you come down. Beautiful. Then you come down. You can do whatever you need to untangle. Yeah. Of course, typically in yoga, elbow balance and this elbow pose and its variations is taught with the palms down because it's a push. But actually, there is a whole range. I've discovered is what really works for you. So if you discover the range, but for simply touch the floor, they may not. One may take up in my left, and instead of blanking that or thinking what's wrong with me, I just notice it because that's the beauty. That's the beauty of our bodies. And then the elbows are rooting, not grasping. Trust that your elbows will stay on the floor as you float up. You float up over the bended toes. And of course, you need to push through the elbow hand thingy up into your spine. This is great.
through, and it's a very strong movement. So I recommend.
What is wrong?
Wrong? Why are you struggling? Yeah, look. What I recommend is that you don't straighten your legs right away, because you add another kind of issue coming from the, and it's just going to make you struggle. Painful.
Is it good?
Yeah, there's a whole thing here that you have to work. This is good. Is that okay? And in here, you know, this whole neck. How was that, John? And then just have a tiny rest back into child pose. If you've been too much head down, you can rest on your back. Just whatever works for you. Just let go, let be. Just a couple of breaths. Wonderful. Okay, let's come back. Let's come up onto the full arm, so onto the hand. So this applies to the hand. There's lots more joints, so it would be much more easy to line everything up. But if you feel that you want to have your hands a bit turned out or one more than the other, I would encourage that, so that the yoga on your mat is helping you allow strain to move out of your body, rather than you're getting all symmetrical and you're swallowing your strain and getting tight inside. So we're up on our hands, our toes are bent under, huge hands now. As the bum begins to float up, we don't need to grasp the floor with the hands, we just actually let them open even more. As you float up, knees bent, just enjoy feeling how you're going up, into squirrel with the tail in the air, how you're letting the toes bend into that big toe. Feel the big toe rooting. Feel each finger growing out of your hand. Each finger is making a part of your shoulder be alive. Yes. So here, I think if you turn out a little, yeah, and you see that you could rest here. You feel that? Yeah. So you can play with these different directions. Yeah. And then you can come up a bit more on your toes and drop through here. And come up more. Yeah, that's good. That's very good. That's great. Great. Then and drop through here. So the head could tip that way, right? But there's also a kind of natural dropping place, do you feel? Yeah. Where it's almost like instead of pointing the crown of your head at the floor, it's your lips somehow. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. So you may want to rest. You may want to rest, or you may want to do this next little sequence. And it might take us just a little over the hour. So we're gonna come up and we're gonna get long. Just watch me. So remember, getting long is not about squeezing in the middle, because that's not sustainable. Getting long is really abandoning yourself in the big directions, and you'll be surprised how long and for how long you can stay, and your voice doesn't change. And before you know it, you'll be flying like a super person.
Then we're going to turn the feet sideways, not the hands. You're not going to lift any hands yet or do anything. Just turn to the side of one of your feet. And as you do that, reach with the soles of the feet towards the floor. Leave the hands flat on the ground and feel this very deep rotation in the ribs and around the shoulders in the back, the shoulder blades. Long and just say, I love doing yoga. Yeah, long. So it's all good, Henry, but just try. It's this one, the lower foot. Yes, and try to point it more to the ground. No, the other way. That way. Now you can put your foot. See? So that one point, the minute you get that, that's it. Now you're on your way. Brilliant. And then we go the other way. We go. So next time, just try to be longer instead of buckled. Just see how that works, because you did it this way with your bum high up. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and reach. That's perfect. That's it, John. Reach, flat hand, there. Yeah, don't lose your head. You have the antlers, and it's a beautiful world. And take a rest by coming back to the middle. Okay, so just let that work. So we've spent the whole afternoon working from the heart to the fingertips, right? And letting all of that liquid and tissue and intelligence wake up. Wake up. You know, this is probably the only thing that will stop you from falling into the World Wide Web through your phone. This opening up. So we're going to go long. We're going to turn again, just like we did. And then you're going to balance, and the more vertical, the better the arm is. You're going to balance on that arm. And if you want to open up and reach through the head, reach through the legs, and smile. And it's totally ridiculous movement. I used this at a job interview once, and I didn't get the job. Long, really long. You're sagging a bit because you've lost your foot, Henriette. Yeah, the underfoot. That's it. And open. Don't go rigid. That's nice, Nicholas. Be flowy and soft, like Chinese silk. Does that work for you? Yeah. That's it, Henriette. That looks amazing. So, and then we do the other side. Long. So this isn't a pose that goes all rigid, and it should stay very, very breathy. Long head, antlers, tail, hand, open, looking down at your fingertips, reciting your favorite poem. Really open up, and you can kind of wave, you know, and if you fall over, it's fine. Yeah, that's great. Open that arm, John. Up. No, it's all good. Just, I'll go very gently, but it's going to go this way. Yee, there. Yeah. You can't come down. And then come down. Okay, and so then lie on the floor and we'll let the class close. We'll turn the camera off in a minute. Thank you, all of you. Sorry for the little technical blips. Thank you, all of those who made little donations, big donations. It's very helpful, and it's very appreciated. And all the comments also, the happiness about the class and all these other classes. It's wonderful to discover all the things that people are doing, those of you who teach or those of you who are going to different things. I think it's a great invention that we can use also when we go back to our more touch-based and in each other's presence-based kind of classes. So lots of love, have a lovely afternoon, and we meditate at 6. So if you want to join us, I mean, you won't see us on camera, but if you just want to join us at that time, it's about 15 minutes. Bye-bye.